The moment the gate shut behind me, I knew my life had just split in two. Not slammed, not dramatic, just that slow metallic slide, the kind that says you're done here without raising its voice. The sun was beating down my shirt, stuck to my back, and a single travel bag sat by my feet like it had been waiting for this moment longer than I had. Someone inside said real calm, "Don't come back." And for a second I almost laughed, because if they'd known who I really was, they never would have said that out loud. Let me rewind. Before the gate, before the looks, before being treated like a bad investment, my life was quiet, normal. I met Lila on a random weekday morning outside a corner cafe in Brookhaven. She was trying to juggle a coffee or phone and a notebook, and gravity was clearly winning. I caught the cup before it tipped, handed her a napkin, and said something dumb like, "Looks like the universe isn't on your side today." She laughed. Not polite laughter, not forced. Real laughter. You know, the kind that makes you pause for half a second longer than you planned. We started talking. About work, about childhood, about pressure. Nothing fancy, nothing impressive. I didn't tell her I owned several logistics firms operating under holding companies. She didn't tell me her parents lived in one of the most exclusive gated neighborhoods in the state. And honestly, that's why it worked. We fell in love without resumes, without bank balances, without pretending. When I asked her to marry me, it wasn't some grand production. No spotlight, no spectacle. Just a quiet question over takeout on a Tuesday night. She said yes, without hesitation. That was the moment things started to change, not between us, but around us. The first time I met her family, I felt it immediately. That shift in the air when people decide who you are before you open your mouth. Her father, Richard Hale, looked at me like I was a line item he didn't remember approving. Her mother smiled, but her eyes were sharp scanning. Her older brother, Marcus, didn't even try to hide his smirk. When Richard asked what I did for a living and I said I ran a small logistics company, Marcus laughed. "So, deliveries?" I nodded. He said, "At least it's honest work." The room went quiet. Lila squeezed my hand under the table. From that day on, everything became measured. Comments disguised as concern. Advice that sounded more like warnings. Lila defended me every time, and I loved her for that, but love doesn't stop people who think they're better than you. The wedding happened anyway. Big venue, expensive decor, lots of guests who came to look, not celebrate. People congratulated my wife and asked me if I was enjoying the party like I'd just wandered in off the street. After the wedding, Lila suggested we stay with her parents for a bit. "Just until we settle," she said. I agreed. Love asks for patience sometimes, even when it hurts. Their house was beautiful, cold. Everything polished, nothing warm. I was spoken to politely in public and ignored in private. Useful when something needed lifting, driving, fixing. Invisible when decisions were made. Marcus loved reminding me where I stood, tossing me car keys. Be useful. Laughing when guests asked if I worked for the family. Lila saw it. She hated it. One night she asked why I never pushed back. I told her the truth. Because I need to see how far they'll go when they think I have nothing. She didn't fully understand, but she trusted me. Every morning before anyone woke up, I took calls quietly. Real calls. Big decisions. When footsteps came close, I ended them. My assistant asked how long I planned to live like that. I said, "Not yet. Timing matters." Things escalated slowly then, all at once. Dinners where my seat was at the end. Plates arriving cold. My name appearing on household task lists next to staff names. Then came the night that changed everything. A formal dinner, important guests. I didn't have a seat at the main table. Richard's wife pointed me to a small side table near the wall. Marcus raised a glass later and thanked me publicly for my contributions. Effort, not money. People laughed. I stood up, smiled, and said, "Funny thing about service, it reveals character." The room went quiet. Not because they understood, but because something cracked. The next morning I asked Richard for help. A loan. Reasonable, temporary, family support. He laughed. Said I wasn't an investment worth risking. Told me a man should stand on his own feet. I nodded. Then they asked me to leave. Actually, they asked me to leave while insisting Lila could stay. That line told me everything. I packed my bag calmly. Marcus followed me grinning like he'd won something. He tossed my bag onto the pavement and opened the gate with exaggerated politeness. The sun hit my face hard. The gate closed. And just like that, I was out. Across the street, an older woman named Mrs. Carter watched everything. She ran a small tea stand. She saw the bag thrown. She saw the gate close. She didn't ask who I was or what I owned. She asked if I was okay. She offered water, a chair, kindness. I sat there that night and made a call. Phase 2, I said, slowly. 3 days later, the cracks started showing. Delayed payments, meetings postponed, calls not returned, panic hiding behind confidence. Then the calls came to me. First ignored, then desperate. Finally, they showed up. Same family, different posture. They asked for help, influence, support. I asked why. They said family. I reminded them what they said when I asked as family. Silence. I gave them one condition. Apologize. Not to me. To the woman who gave me water when they gave me nothing. They did. Awkwardly, painfully, but they did. I stabilized what needed stabilizing. With boundaries. Clear ones. I didn't move back. Lila and I left. We chose a smaller place. A quieter life. Free. Later, in a boardroom overlooking the city, they learned the rest. The contracts, the holdings, the truth they never bothered to ask about. No shouting, no revenge, just reality arriving on time. Here's the part people argue about. I didn't win because I was richer. I won because I didn't let bitterness decide who I became. Power doesn't reveal itself when you shout. It shows up when you stay calm while someone else loses control. So, tell me this. Were they wrong for judging me or was I wrong for letting them? Would you have played it differently? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear where you stand.